Hello, everyone. Today we're going to discuss about fixed expenses versus variable expenses for budgeting. These are actually in line with how school managers actually prepares the budget for the school. And most of the time they work in hand with if they have people who actually manages their funds, talking about maybe they have Department of Finance, they have the accountants. So school managers, they might be having that skills. They should actually have the skills to understand what is the fixed expenses and what is the variable expenses for budgeting. So for personal budgeting purposes, fixed expenses are the costs that you can forecast with confidence because they don't change from month to month or period to period. So they tend to take up to the largest percentage of your budget because they are things like rent, mortgage payments, car payments, and insurance premiums. So here, as on a personal budgeting, you can actually uh, easily manage these fixed expenses. And when you say what is a fixed expenses, that's a typical fixed expenses include the car payments, mortgage or rent payments, insurance premiums, and real estate taxes. So typically, these expenses can be easily changed. One on the plus side, they are easy to budget for because they generally stay the same and are paid on a regular basis. For example, if you got a mortgage loan in a particular financial institution, so you know how much you pay per month. So you always budget for that one, and then which is now come to be very easy to manage. So um, some fixed expenses may be uh, discretionary, like gym membership or streaming service subscription. Like maybe you're doing something that would require you to use internet, and you always pay per subscription. Like if you're going to use maybe streamlining the videos on the YouTube, so you don't have to do subscription, and that could be specifically for a specific period. So, like gym membership tends to be maybe like 1 month. You know how much you're going to pay. So this could also fix expenses. So variable expenses are what are variable expenses? When you say variable expenses, and one way of describing variable expenses is that they present your daily spending decisions. So, uh, do you buy conventional or organic produce? So, do you get Starbucks or make coffee at home? Not all the variables are discretionary expenses. So, like for example, you're working somewhere and then you look at a particular shop or store and then you're going to buy uh, something over there like for drinking. So this one could be what I call the variable expenses. So also the variable costs are quite often discretionary expenses, and some may be necessities. So buying gas for your car each month is a variable expenses, and as a car repairs and maintenance, or maybe grocery shopping is also a variable expense. So your utility bills may also be variable expenses because they may change from month to month. So for example, you might be spending more on electricity in July than you do in December because of the air conditions. Like those actually people who are living in the places like places where there is tend to be hot and sometimes places where tend to be cold. So they always use air conditions. So many of your variables, many of the variable expenses, they are being very predictable. If you go through the previous year's credit and debit card statements, you may begin to see the pattern. So for example, maybe you get an haircut every 4 weeks, but you could stretch a haircut to last 6 weeks. So that would save you roughly 3 haircuts, which is at maybe say Namibian dollars 30, maybe pop to 990 Namibian dollars. So you can also use the past year's data to estimate how much you typically spend on categories of variable expenses. For example, you could have a grocery category like utilities category and travel expenses category. Next, see how much you spend on these categories during the previous year, and then divide that number by 12, and then you can then set aside that amount each month for a variable expenses. So lowering your fixed cost, creating automatic non-option savings. So not only will you be able to actually to free up money to pay down the debts or save your future, you may not have to give up as much of your lifestyle. So if you actually lower your fixed expenses, it doesn't just mean that you're going to have an option of saving automatically, but make sure you have an actual picture of where your money is going. If you're having a trouble cutting costs as fast as consider accounting for every cent you spend. That's the way while you work on curbing your spending habits. Like you want to make your curve to be down, so don't make it to actually be up. So means the spending habits have to be reduced, and you'll have an accurate picture of where you are spending too much and how much you need to save. So first of all, you have to sit down and look how much do you spend and what kind of things are you buying. For example, are they necessity, or maybe they are like you have to differentiate between the wants and needs. Thank you so much. That was a presentation about the fixed and variable expenses.